Today's the 5-year anniversary of January 6th, and I'm pissed. 5 years ago today, Congress, which includes the House and the Senate, got together with the Vice President to certify the election results of 2020. That morning, Donald Trump gave an hour and 10-minute speech discussing the ideas that the election was stolen and fraudulent, and that people need to stand up for the country and do what is right and push back against this fraud. See, the problem I have here is everything he was saying was complete bullshit. And yes, you can still watch his speech on YouTube. Now, supporters of this guy picked up on one sentence he made in an hour and 10 minutes speech. One sentence where Trump quickly mentioned peaceful. But the rest of the time, it was fight for your country, fight for me. Now, what he was really on about was the ideas that the Vice President, Mike Pence, shouldn't certify the election results, which, by the way, is unconstitutional. Now, the un-Americans that went to this thing brought a gallows for Mike Pence. They shouted, "Hang Mike Pence," as they broke into the Capitol. The police were actually fighting for their lives, trying to defend the Capitol against these assholes. Over 1,000 people were convicted of various crimes. 2 of these individuals, the head of the Oath Keepers and the head of the Proud Boys, were convicted with seditious conspiracy because they planned this operation out the night before. They even had a documentarian with them who told all this information to the federal government. Those 2 militia groups' job was to rally up the crowd and push them forward and get them engaged with taking over the Capitol. Their plan was to take the electoral votes and force Congress to have an election or a vote of no confidence kind of thing. And what would happen is the House would get to vote. Now, what really bothers me about this whole thing is this guy sat in the White House for an hour, or she should say 187 minutes, watching the whole thing happen and not doing anything about it. Later on, he blamed Nancy Pelosi. He blamed anyone he could, said, "Oh, they didn't call the National Guard or recommended it." You're the president, bro. You can call the National Guard at any moment. You are the highest rank in the military. You are the highest rank in our nation. It is on you. Not to mention that so-called request for more National Guard was total bullshit. He didn't do that. This day, homeboy, Donald Trump, actually had his Secret Service checking people going into his speech, and a lot of them were reporting they're catching weapons on these guys. And Trump said, "They're not here for me." It's like, aren't you the American president? Who are they here for? Here to overthrow the government? After Donald Trump was elected for the second time, a few things happened. 1, the case against Donald Trump was dropped. Why? Was it because he's innocent? No, it wasn't because he was innocent. It was because he was elected president. The information they had on this guy was that Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to stay in power. Some of their witnesses against Trump on that day included the vice president. And all he really had to do was say, did Donald Trump try to force you to not certify the election? And that would be election subversion. That's all it would have taken. But the Supreme Court took this information, argued in court, can presidents be charged with crimes? And in the case Donald Trump versus United States, 2023, their results were that presidents cannot be charged with a crime while in office. However, they left a loophole open that if they're not acting as president, they could be charged with a crime. But that took 6 months to figure that out. And not to mention now that all presidents in the history, from now on, are all absolved from crimes in office. They could do anything. The fact that everyone involved in this debacle was pardoned. If you like our Constitution, you know it hurts deep. The moral fabric of this country was ripped that day. The rule of law, does it really apply anymore? It definitely doesn't apply to everyone. In closing, I just want to leave the comments made by police officers of that day who never will receive justice after all these guys are pardoned. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think.
I was beaten, crushed, kicked, punched, surrounded. Someone reached underneath my visor, tried to gouge out my eye. And all these people were just pardoned by Donald Trump.
Anyone pretending to be outraged and shocked and surprised? You just haven't been paying attention. The Republican Party has long claimed to be the party of law and order. Back to blue. However, many lawmakers' silence and refusal to push back against Donald Trump's actions make it incredibly hard to take that claim serious. Many of the officers that were brutally assaulted that day are the same officers who protected Donald Trump on Monday. Think about that for a minute.
This is effectively a militia that Donald Trump has created to support his political wishes and his personal wishes. You cannot say you back the blue if you are going to let out of jail violent criminals who assaulted the blue.